Good morning, everyone. I'm going to ride around the world.
I'm Mick Claridge, and I'm going to ride around the world on my bike.
My son, he gave me advice at the start of this ride, and he looked at me and just said, "Dad, don't be a moron."
Let me do my animal signal to gain their respect.
How's it going, Sally?
Yeah, I'm alright, Mick. How's it going?
Worse than that bit in Lord of the Rings where they go into the top and the spiders in the tunnel. I'm just hoping there's a spider at the top of this one to kill me. Freezing.
And I failed. I moroned up the ride.
Timo Karjalainen has been a revelation to start this season with 2 victories and a second-place finish. His lead is extended after last week out to 22 points, but the capable duo of Pauli Partanen and Jukka Tolonen would love to close that down. So turn to Indianapolis and a circuit enshrined in racing folklore. We're back home again in Indiana on the Global SimRacing Channel. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, race fans around the world, to round 4 and the second leg of this Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series American triple header. My name is Jake Sperry, and I'm joined alongside by Mick Claridge. Ryan Bauer is our director today, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. The Brickyard has been a site of Formula racing many a time before, both past and present, and it presents a high-speed challenge fettered with a downforce-heavy infield. Let's understand more about the track on 16th Street in Georgetown with our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. While the oval has been around for more than a century, the road course has only notched up a couple decades of running. Originally built to bring Formula One to North America's most famous track, it's gone through multiple layout alterations to arrive on the current format. However, in iRacing, you can choose from 3 versions spread across various times. All are roughly 2.6 miles, or a little over 4 kilometers, and vary between 13 and 16 turns. The most distinctive and recognizable feature of every single one, though, is the blast down the front stretch over the yard of bricks. This run easily offers the best passing opportunity, especially in the older version, which includes oval turn 1 in reverse to help build up speed. But the rest of the track is a rather technical affair. The 2009 layout includes an extra loop in the infield that slows things down a lot. But the more modern one has a tricky and quick chicane that dumps you onto the backstretch. The bike course takes you in a traditional counterclockwise direction, but is also much more rarely used. In the real world, the road course is raced by many different series throughout the year, including IndyCar, NASCAR, and multiple different sports car organizations. In fact, the Grand Prix of Indy has become one of the staples of the month of May in the lead up to the famous Indy 500. While the oval will always hold a greater prestige, road racing at the Brickyard is absolutely here to stay.
So that's a look at an updated Indianapolis Motor Speedway as part of iRacing's brand new updates to what is a legendary circuit, and more soon to come on the horizon. But Speedway Indiana is where we find ourselves today, a 14-turn road layout course, 2.6 miles, 4.18 kilometers, and 14 turns of very difficult racing. It's not too dissimilar to what you have already when it was raced back in 2005 and 2006 in the Formula One World Championship. The big difference is the small flittering chicane coming along through turns 5 and 6, and then the right-left of turns 8 and 9, which replace what is a hairpin. There is that chicane cut through at the final section, which was put in, the measure that was, of course, put in after the 2005 Formula One Grand Prix, which very much could have been put in at that time. But Indianapolis Motor Speedway and this road course is going to be a difficult, downforce heavy challenge for drivers today, with good overtaking opportunities into turn 7 and of course into turn 1 as they run reverse for what they would for the Indianapolis 500. But today is going to be a challenge of 27 laps. So let's take a look at how these drivers stand. We talked at the top of the broadcast, Timo Karjalainen up on top, 170 points. He's got a 22-point margin up ahead, and he is clear at this point in time of Pauli Partanen in second. Jukka Tolonen currently third, and the former Pro Stripe Andreas Henkel currently in fourth position. Timothy Reed will be in a close battle with Alex Millward fifth and sixth, with Michael de Turk in seventh, with Peter Konechny, Phil Reed with his controller magic in ninth position. He's 99 points down, and Tony Garcia rounding out then the top 10 overall in the F1 standings. The differentiation of how everyone goes is between 3,000 iRating and above. That puts you in the F1 standing. Below 3,000 iRating puts you in the F2 standings. And I am sure in terms of how this race is done today, that's going to be a good challenge. Marco Antonio Lopez on top with Tamas Bartfai in second position, just 7 points back. Then it's Oscar Soltero in third position with Antonio Alvarez in fourth position. Fausto Bergmeister will start, or is in fifth position in this championship, with Marco Flaquer in sixth position, tied on points. Adam Kell, Jack Wells, Guillermo Martin Gonzalez is in ninth position, and Jack David Spickett rounding out the top 10 with the most Lotus 79 name of them all. But we find ourselves now looking at where we are at. This is the 1/3 stage of the championship. Round 4 of 12 is 27 laps here today, but it's an open qualifying setup. And that is really important because it means that you need that technical nous and prowess to get yourself up at the higher end of the order. You don't have a spare car in this series. If you find your car broken down on the side of the road, if you broke it, you bought it, you're going to have to pay for it. And as with every iRacing official series, drive-through penalty occurs at 17 instant points and disqualification over at 25 incidents outright. So keep that in mind. This is going to be a really, really important day's worth of action. Qualifying currently underway. We've got about halfway through, and why not start with the legend of Lotus 79, Gernot Fritzsche, a driver who has been right up there, Mick, time and time again. An onboard driver's perspective as he looks to try and pivot through the very tight turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, great to see Gernot here again, Jake. A lot of good drivers turning up today. Michael de Turk up there in pole. Timothy Reed looking good. Nico Lino's just taking over the line now. So, yeah, always good to see Gernot here. Absolute legend he is.
He absolutely is, making a run now up the middle sector, the back stretch, going towards this very tough 90-degree left-hander, having to try and find the right braking zone, tip the car in, and just hope that you can find the right turn. This right and left, you want to put the power down as early as you can, keep as straight a line as possible, stay hard to the left-hand side, and open up towards the banking, Mick.
Yeah, there's a couple of sections now that we're missing today. That huge bank section is gone. That last section of the track, real slow corners. It's really hard to get the power down there, Jake. Really tough to get these corners right. They're so slow. As we all know, the Lotus 79 does not like these slow corners. And you're going to see it today. You're going to see a lot of guys trying to get the power down hard now.
Yeah, of course, you don't have the ground effect really helping you. A 15.7 from Gernot Fritzsche. That's only good enough for position number 9, so couldn't really do much. But here is the championship leader, and I'm sure that Timo Karjalainen, car number 2 today, is going to be certainly hoping for a great opening time. It's going to cross the yard of bricks and goes fastest by 0.02 of a second ahead of Mikko Leino. It is so tight up at the top here, Mick. You've got the top six drivers right now, split by just 0.07 of a second.
Yeah, it is so close today, isn't it? You look at the track, it's not a very long track, is it, Jake? But, I wasn't expecting it to be this close. I mean, look at the guys, always 15-1 in 6 spots. So then we go down all the way down to 12th position. They're still in the 15s there. So, yeah, this is going to be a tough one.
Karjalainen could even improve further on the brakes, looking to try and open it up. Has the pole position, but not by much. Then there aren't many drivers out there who could maybe improve. Alejandro Fernandez, Marc-Antoine Thibault could be another driver who improves. So of the contenders, you'd say Karjalainen looks good with 1:40, and it's a hard clock here, which means that once the clock strikes 0, that's it. All lap times are abandoned at that point, so you have to get your times in within this section of time, taking a lot of curb, trying to take a very, very late apex to open up that penultimate corner, leading through turn 14, and look how narrow he is over the yard of bricks, trying to take as little track as possible, and that's just a flex and a half from Karjalainen. 14.8, he's proving he's the maestro.
Yeah, the only guy in the 14s there. That was a brilliant last section of the lap. Well, just watching him fight the rear end there, coming out that corner and onto the banking, and then just holding it to the right-hand side, just taking the least line of distance there, if you will. And yeah, only guy in the 14s properly done there.
Marc-Antoine Thibault crosses the line, 117.8, and that will be everybody then. In terms of qualifying, nobody can improve. So we can take ourselves then to the starting grid here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in what is an incredible track. And it is an all-finish front row. Timo Karjalainen putting a masterclass of qualifying down with Mikko Leino alongside on the front row. Michael de Turk will start from 3rd with Timothy Reed in 4th position, and it's another Timothy just behind him, Timothy Vaughan. He'll start from 5th position. Kimmo Villiakainen will go from 6th position with Jordan Gronkowski in 7th, and Jukka Tolonen maybe a little bit down the order in 8th, but it just goes to show you how competitive this field is. Luca Bracali having a really good qualifying. Number 25 car indicates a lower iRating, but that's a great time in 9th position, and he'll have the legend Gernot Fritzsche rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, great to see you going on there. Still holding the number 1. 11th spot there, Pete Konechny, Tony Garcia next to him 12th. Alejandro Vega, 13th, and Kartik Pai. I'd expect him to be moving up, Jake, 14th spot there. 15th is Thomas Butterfly, Ryan Van Voorst in 16th, Nicholas McCarlos in 17th, Armando Edwards in 18th, Marco Salgado 19th, and Paul Schmallenberg in 20th.
It very much is Paul Schmallenberg in 20th position. You're absolutely right there. Javier Mosquera will start from 21st, and the fan favourite Barry West will go from 22nd position. He'll have Keith Herner and Daniel Banker on row number 12. The last drive to set a time we saw was Marc-Antoine Thibault. He puts a 1:17.8 down, and ordered by iRacing, Daniel Gallis will start from 26th position, and Miguel Angel Fernandez, or Miguel Angel Perez, I should say, will go from 27th position on the 14th row of the grid. There are the track conditions right now. It's a cool 23 degrees, 74 degrees Fahrenheit out there on circuit. Not much wind to speak of, just 7 miles an hour, but it has been playing havoc with drivers in terms of hitting the brakes and finding the right braking point as they look to set themselves up. As with all series to line up on the grid, they have 2 minutes to get themselves lined up, or they will start from that place known as pit road. And this is, here Mick, one of the longest runs towards turn 1, and it's a very tight 90 degrees.
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing they got to worry about is getting this car off the line. You'll see a lot of guys just holding it on idle and just giving it a full boot full and just coming off the brake, and then the other guys you'll see just giving it the full revs and feeding the clutch in, getting nice. Timo's always a good starter. Michael de Turk has always got a good start on him as well. So just watch out for this turn 1, because finding your brake marker, it's going to be tough.
Lights on, lights out, let's get racing. Here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a horrible start by Mikko Leno. He immediately falls back into 3rd position, which allows Michael de Turk to challenge then for the race lead as they run towards turn number 1. On the brakes they go, cold brakes, cold tyres as they run through the top 5 or 6. All looking good as they run the way through. It's fanning out a little bit as they go through. One car almost forced onto the grass, but everyone making it nice and cleanly through. But crucially, Kaya Leinen with the lead, Michael de Turk up to 2nd, and Mikko Leno with work to do.
Yeah, unbelievable start there. And I can't believe it, Jake. The guys have all made it through there. I always set on my camera to set on.
It's a big one.
Oh, I spoke too soon.
A massive, massive accident then in the back. Keith Herner almost upside down, going through and getting caught up in the melee, and you can see more dramas then as they went through that section of road. It's always difficult, turn 4, turn 5. One driver makes a mistake, and then everybody else finds themselves effectively running through like lemons off the cliff.
Yeah, so already, Jake, something we mentioned earlier pre-race, we didn't expect to see many back markers in this race. Now I think we will, and it could play a role in the result of this race with all these slow corners. So yeah, just watch out now. These guys that have had accidents, chances are they're going to be coming back out on track, and you just got to watch where they're going to be.
Oh, and Tolonen in trouble. Tolonen, one of the drivers then, having a spin at turn 12 even. Out on track very much. Got too late on the brakes. That was his trouble. 1 lap, score complete then. Kaya Leinen, de Turk, Leno, your top 3, and they're looking to try and break away from Timothy Bourne. And Michael de Turk, you saw in the race before, wasn't broadcast, Mick, but he was right up there trying to stay with Kaya Leinen, who was just uberly consistent. That's how he broke away. Do you think this will be a similar story today?
It all depends what the guys have done with their setups in between the races. I know they do change quite a bit sometimes. Sometimes the guys will change the wing level, sometimes even ride height just to eke out a bit more top speed, or maybe a bit more grip in the slow corners. It can change between the 2 races. So yeah, going to be interesting to see who's made a big change in this the main event, if you will.
Let's have a look then at the start and see just exactly what happened. I believe it all started with Tony Garcia as they were running through this section, was too wide and then having to slow. Oh, you can see that up over the curve, slows it up. He gets away with it in the 11th, Tony Garcia, but everyone else has to check up behind, and that's where the chain reaction happens, Mick.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I can't believe he kept the car going straight after launching it over the curb like that. But yeah, it wasn't actually him that got hit, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was everyone else behind. And this is Jukka Tolonen then in the number 3 car. And this is why cold tyres are difficult. You come on the banking, on the brakes, he locks it up, and he pretty much pitches the car into a spin to avoid taking out another driver.
He did a similar thing in the race before, Jake. one thing he's very good at is avoiding taking people out, if that's something to be proud of. But yeah, he did exactly the same thing. He nearly ran into Gernot Fritsch in the earlier race and did exactly the same thing, just at the last second, just move the car out of the way. And it is always a sign of a guy that really does know how to control a car. Okay, he's made a mistake, but yeah, to actually get out the other side, yeah, fair play to him.
Michael Turk here has lost second position to Mikko Leno. He went wide at turn 1, and that's what's opened the opportunity. Karjalainen now clear by a second and a half then, as we're on lap 3 of 27. 1/9 distance score complete in this one, but Mikko Leno now has got himself some work to do to chase down his compatriot in Timo Karjalainen at this point in time. We'll take a look at this move, and oh no, we won't. We'll see a look at Daniel Banker in a world of trouble then as he's going through. So Banker looks like he's got a lot of trouble on the front there. You can see the front right of his wing completely gone as he has to try and search for the pit lane.
Yeah, he's pulling out of that. He's got so much damage on the car. It doesn't even look like it's going in a straight line there. We're back on board with Michael de Turk now into, looks like turn 2, turn 3 at the start of the lap. It's so hard to get the car around these corners. I love this chicane coming up here, Jake. Just left, right, bang over these curbs, take a wide line now. He's a quick guy today, nice and fast. He's keeping up with the top guys. Mikolaino's on 1.8 ahead, and Timo Karjalainen, what can you say about this guy? Mr. Consistency. If we ever get a shot on board, I just note his steering inputs. He's just absolutely nailed this car setup today. He's just so fluent in the driver's seat. Not to take anything away from Michael de Turk here, as we was on board there. He looks quite similar, to be honest with you, when I was just watching the hands there.
Yeah, sure, Karjalainen will want to try and build more and more of a gap, and with the slew of cars behind him, he's going to be happy about it. And de Turk taking a really wide line then, going through turn 13, actually had himself out in the grass, had to save it, and that's why he's in the thralls now of Timothy Vaughan, who might be thinking of a podium here on this long run towards turn number 1. On the brakes they'll go. Pick your braking marker. You got about 0.01 of a second to find the absolute perfect element, and everyone does as they run through. But it is such a difficult battle out there. It's not just this group fighting for third, it's also the group with Luca Bracali. He's holding a massive train back in 8th position on back.
Just looking now at Luca's line into the turn, to the right turn. Nice line, nicely over the curbs through the chicane now. Karthik Pai, he's no slouch behind him. He's going to be wanting to look further up than this. He was doing well in the race earlier, so he was. I'll be looking to see him. Oh, he closes right up on the brakes there, doesn't he? Oh wow! Is he going to make a move into the right hander there? No, he's nowhere near clear enough. But yeah, Karthik's on form today, so let's see how he gets on here today.
Gernot Fritsch are on board with down 2 spots then in this group, and this is the worst nightmare you have as an experienced driver. You're in the mid-pack and everyone wants to make moves, so how do you pick and choose your way through the pack, Mick?
Well, the trouble is, Jake, I mean, this is a split race as well, so we know these are... Oh, there's a guy... He's spinning... Oh, that's Peter Konietzki. I didn't know it was yet. As I said, Jake, it is so tough to get on the power, and always the same, isn't it? When we're talking about how good the drivers are, one of them loops it.
All the horses bolted out, and there's a lot of horses coming from that DFV Cosworth engine on the power, trying to get through. Car's never planted there, Mick.
No, it wasn't, no, and... It's a nightmare. As I say, the car just doesn't like this low downforce stuff on these slow corners. Yeah, absolute nightmare there. But I'm sure Peter's going to fight his way through. Not sure he'll be able to get back to his spot where he was, but hopefully he'll be able to carry on and make some good moves.
Still a lot of time remaining in this one. On board with Timothy Reed then, Club Atlantic, trying to chase down Timothy Vaughan as the Battle of the Tims continues on here from 16th Street in Georgetown, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And Timothy Reed just struggling there with that dirty air effect, going through the very, very difficult turn 10 corner. Turn 10 is such a pivotal corner on this track, Mick. It really does set up the entirety of the final sector.
Yeah, that's right. And just where they are now in the last part of the corners, last part of the lap, there's a lot of lines you can take through that little section and back out onto the front straight now. Look at the cars go past us there. Brilliant shot there, the cars coming down this front straight. And everyone seems to be trimmed around the same sort of top speed. They're just north of 170 miles an hour now, looking for their brake marker into turn 1. Tim's got a nice run into turn 1. Nice smooth lines there through this section as well. Everyone looks pretty equal, don't they, Jake?
They do. You've got to be patient around this circuit. You're not going to be guaranteed an overtake. You're going to have to work for it. That's what racing's about, working for your overtakes. And the Ligier-Gitanes car is going to certainly try and find an opportunity to make that pass on the brakes. But everyone as well in front is going to have that same sort of setup, that same sort of run where they're going to have different elements of wing, yes, but it's about how much top speed you have. And draft can sometimes be a huge boon, sometimes it can't. Just a bit behind that group, you've got Kimmo Villiakainen, who's trying to work to get back to where he started in this race, trying to get past Jordan Gronkowski.
Yeah, Jordan's doing a good job today. Nice spot, nice in 6th place now. He's looking to try and catch on to the back of Tim, who's no slouch, as we know. But Jordan knows what he's doing in a race car, mate, as we know. Real life driver, Formula Ford champion in real life. So, yeah, he knows his way around the track, mate, and he's a tough guy to get round. So Kimmo's got his work cut out today.
Absolutely does, and we'll be certainly searching the Raccoon Racing driver to make that move. On the brakes they go, in towards the opening corner once again, and it is a much more extended, more accentuated turn one from what it has been previously in the past, as there goes Kartik Pai trying to find a way, the long way around Luca Bracali. He's got to open it up. Prise it open with a crowbar, why don't you? Heading towards turn number 4, and it's still not quite done, and Bracali does not know when to give up. Has the inside for the chicane. What a defense!
Yeah, oh, is that going to be a slowdown for Karthik? He's so wide. I'm not actually sure if there is going to be a slowdown, but it's not. He keeps his foot in it. But, yeah, interesting to see if there is a slowdown when you go that wide. But here they go. He's got it done.
Oh, brilliant. And sneaking through, Alejandro Fernandez is going to take one as well. Bracali looked like he had the move completely sewn up. The back stretch, he loses 2 spots for it. Geno Frice now looking to try and take advantage. Is now all of a sudden in front of them. Alejandro Fernandez has just woken up. He smelt the coffee. He wants to make the move. Wide goes Kartik Pai, has a huge slide, and this will open up the door now, trying to figure a way through. And suddenly Bracali's back up the inside. Brilliant stuff. Alejandro Fernandez with the inside for the final corner. He's going to lose out on the inside.
Yeah, still too wide down the front straight, but watch out for Gernot now. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it 3 wide, but look at Alejandro's top speed. There is going to be 3 wide, Jake. As they go, he's going to be late on the brakes into turn 1. I know, just is it up. Nicely done by all 3 guys there. They've made it through, and that's worth mentioning.
How on earth did Bracali not make contact at that section of track? He went for a gap that I wasn't sure existed compared to Gernot Frice, and suddenly we can finally take a breath. What an incredible sequence of about 2 laps they've had to fight for in this one, and it all stems from drivers wanting to hold on to that position. This mid-pack is incredible, Mick.
Yeah, brilliant fight, ain't it? And look at Karthik, he'll be the most happiest out of this group. Just got a nice little gap now, and as I said earlier, he's no slouch today, so I'd even expect him to maybe even gap these guys now. I don't know, you never want to say that about someone like Gernot Frick, who's an absolute legend in this car, but yeah, great battling, great, absolute brilliant stuff this is.
Absolutely brilliant. He's got the most wins by almost 3 times as many other driver, most podiums by 3 times as any other driver. He is someone who has been here and been a part of the furniture for a long time and been incredible doing it. And having a big moment I've just noticed was Jordan Gronkowski, and all of a sudden his pressure starting to tell. I wonder if we can have a look at that battle going on for 6th position out on the road, because Kimmo Villiakainen's trying to really open up every corner. Doesn't get the best turn 4 in the world here, Mick, but he certainly wants to try and get by, and because they're losing ground to Timothy Reed, it gets easier for Kimmo.
Yeah, and Kimmo's doing exactly what he needs to, isn't he? Whatever line Jordan takes through a corner, Kimmo will take a slightly different one just to get that overrun and see if he can do anything about this. Just looking behind, Karthik Pai's quite a long way behind, so nothing to worry about behind. Just going to watch, I was going to say we're going to watch their top speed onto the front straight, but we still got this little section now to get through. The tight right-hander, Jordan slightly misses the apex there. Nice line from Kimmo. Nice late apex there. Well, Jordan missed it, but a nice line from Kimmo. And onto the front straight they go.
Whoa! Right in the back of shot, up and over is going to go Alejandro Fernandez, and his day is all but over with that moment. A massive, massive spin, and he's done it all on his own, coming onto the banking.
I'm just watching it now, and also Thomas Barfly as well. He spun it.
Well,
I think he was actually looking.
Schöner completely missed his marker there. Hits the brakes, misses it by 50 meters,
wow.
and runs straight into the back of him. That is incredible.
Well, I'll say it now, Jake. I don't think I've ever seen Gernot even miss an apex, let alone miss a brake marker as much as he did there. It actually looks like he didn't even touch the brakes, and that's just an enormous mistake from him. But yeah, that's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that, to be honest with you.
It's a lapse in concentration. It's one you don't expect. He did hit the brakes. He was desperately trying to slow it down, but he missed it by a good 100 meters. At that point, Michael de Turk, though, has his eyes set on second position here at the end of lap 11. He's been staring at the back of Mikko Leino's machinery for a very, very long time, and he cannot quite find the right angle to get through on the Finnish driver. These two now 3.5 seconds, almost now 4 seconds behind Karjalainen at this point in time as they cross the yard of bricks. And for this time being, I think you have to say Michael de Turk's going to have to play this patiently, because he's got 15 laps the next time he crosses the line to figure out a way past car number 6.
Yeah, this is look like it's going to be heating up as well. Timothy Vaughan was a tenth quicker than Michael de Turk last time by. Just watching Mikko Leino now, he just missed the apex there before the chicane, and nicely through the chicane for the pair of them. But yeah, these guys are totally on the limit, aren't they?
Thomas Bartfly, we've just seen, have a half slide going into turn number 13, the penultimate corner. How tough of a corner is that? Because you have to try and trail brake in to get all the turn in on the track. Yeah,
it is tough. I mean, this car in general, like I say, does not like these corners. And I don't know if the guys are having trouble with the curbs today. They do look a bit bouncy today over the curbs. There's a couple of real nasty ones on the layout. But yeah, a lot of guys getting caught out. I'm surprised not many people have been caught out by turn 1 yet. That is such a huge braking zone to get the car woed up here. I was expecting some more pain there, but yeah.
Yeah, 2 laps ago then, Gronkowski lost the position to Villiakainen. This is Jukka Tolonen, who is up there in the championship, trying to get by Nicholas Mukanos in the scrap for 11th position on the road. Tolanen's going to have to go the long way around. Mukanos defending heavily. Now open up the final corner, why don't you? That's the plan here for Jukka Tolonen with that big up and under. He's going to get a wonderful drive then onto this front stretch. And as they run down to the IndyCar turn 4, looking towards turn 1 of this circuit, is there going to be a look towards that inside from Jukka Tolonen? He's going to be late on the brakes, pivoting a nose to the inside, almost taking advantage of the spotter there a little bit, Mick, trying to get to the inside.
Yeah, and he's got a lovely run now, isn't he? Yeah, he does favour that wide line onto the straight. I watched him do that a lot today. On the gearbox now, straight through the chicane as they go. And Nick's going to have some trouble here. Jukka is so quick in this car. He's just an animal. He's looking again into the left-hander now. Again, nicely hitting the apex for the both of them, and through the right-hander. Lucas looks... I was going to say, Jake, Jukka looks very loose to me on these entries of these corners. A lot of steering the angle going in, then as he comes out, and yeah, good tight battle, isn't it?
I do love his helmet. It's Angry Birds. He's going to have to really send it Angry Bird style if he wants to try and find a pass out there on track. He's going to have to go the long way around again, trying to sort this out. Mukanos struggling and suddenly open it up on the inside. Thank you very much. Nicholas Mukanos had nothing on the exit of 13.
Yeah, it actually looked like he knew he'd messed it up, so just let him have the spot, and I think this is why he did it, so he can come back straight down the inside, and Jukka's got nothing for him in there. Late on the brakes for Jukka, though. Is he going to make the turn? He makes it lovely. That's absolutely brilliant.
That's just
Mukanos was all over the place, wasn't he, on the power then as well through turn 1 there. So, yeah, great move.
It was a great move, and Mukanos, I think, has been completely deterred, because all that battling, it's brought both Tamas Bartfai and Miguel Angel Perez back into the scraps. So now it's a 4-car train here, battling for 11th to 14th positions then in this race outright. But it is going to be one where they're going to have to be careful here as they enter the second half of this race. Timo Karjalainen, your race leader now by 5.7 seconds out in front. Mikko Leino has actually just lost second position outright. So Mikko Leino all of a sudden finding himself in a little bit of the no man's land as Michael de Turk made the move at turn 1.
Right, yeah, I just looked at it myself. Yeah, nice little move there. Going to be interesting now to see if Miko can do anything about this. He actually crashed in the earlier race, so we didn't really get to see his pace, what he's like today. So going to be interested to see if he can keep up with Michael. Michael's on form today. Every now and again, there's a different type of Michael that shows up, and today this one on form. He's always been there and thereabouts. He's had a couple of really good finishes in the car now, and he's really driving well.
Let's have a look then at this move. This is the one for second position, and it is as bread and butter as it gets. Michael de Turk getting in the slipstream, waiting for the braking zone, and he absolutely claws his way through. And I'm sure that if you had the Hubble telescope, you wouldn't see it coming, Mick.
No, it was from about 400 cars back, weren't it? He made that move. So yeah, there's no mucking about there, mate.
Absolutely not. And he's still got to keep the pace up, though, because behind Miko Leno, still there is the two Tims, Timothy Vaughan and Timothy Reed. So those two Tims, you can see on board with Timothy Vaughan in 4th position. They are by no means out of this race right now here, Mick.
No, not at all. This is all going to be... Oh, I was just watching Miku there on the entry at turn 1. He's all over the back of Michael now. So, yeah. But, yeah, the two Tims are there. Ready to take it on. We're at lap 16 now, so there's plenty of time to get this done, get this battle going.
That's 2 Mikes and 2 Tims right now. It's almost tandem racing at this point in time. You can't ask for anything better with your Sunday Grand Prix Series action here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. On the brakes then, looking to try and challenge this middle sector through 8. And now you've got yourself turn 9, that left. Everyone trying to open up turn 10. Micheleno taking a much more shallower line through turn 10. Is he trying there to take that shallower line, Mick, to get out of the dirty air?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we haven't touched on that today. There's a lot of that going on in this car, a lot more than you think. A good half-second back, and you'll start feeling that wash all over the curbs now. From hard on the power for Miku, trying to fight the rear end now, trying to catch her. And it really hurt him there, getting onto the front straight, and Michael de Turk going to the right-hand side now to try and break the toe, but I don't know. Do you reckon Miko's going to want to return the favour here and make a move from about 50 car lengths back? He doesn't go for it. Nicely over the apex into turn 1 for these guys.
Not yet, anyway. I think give it about 7 laps and we might start seeing that happen. This is going to be that sort of race today where drive's going to go, but Leno goes very wide through turn 4, and suddenly Timothy Vaughan, cookies, thank you very much, that's mine. And Leno's going to be so slow on the power. Timothy Reed is going to get a Christmas present here, and we're not even at Halloween yet for another 4 weeks. So on the brakes, trying to get it done around the outside. It's going to have to be this left-hander, and it's going to make it almost stick. Leno's trying to hold it on in, but he's not going to manage it. Thank you very much. There's Timothy Reed.
Yeah, and Timothy Vaughan, wall of death around the outside of that corner as well. I thought he was going to actually come off, but as close as you could get to the outside line and into the left hand off the back straight. But yeah, 2 spots just gone like that for Miko. Terrible.
It happens with 1 lapse of concentration. It can very easily switch this race, and because they've slowed each other up with mistakes on this lap, Villiakainen and Gronkowski have a chance to close themselves back in now onto this group, and that is going to be crucial for them in terms of keeping up in this. With 10 laps to go, they've got to figure out how they can manage their way up through the train, and Miko Leno may be struggling a little bit. Do you think tyres are maybe playing an issue slightly?
Well, I wouldn't know about tyres, but the handling of the cars we know changes later on in the race. Maybe guys are set up with a little bit of understeer to start off, so the car's nice and balanced at the end, but it can catch you out. It can catch you out, Jake. This car does change it. It favours oversteer for later on in the race, and if you run out with bar changes in the car, it's a nightmare. I've done it myself, and yeah, not nice, not nice.
Not nice.
We've had
That's lap traffic just in front, so that's Barry West going through, and he's desperately trying to stay out the way of everyone, and this is a very tough circuit to stay out of the way. A wide line having to be taken by Villiakainen going through, but ultimately everyone gets around Barry West, and it's such a tough track here, Mick, to try and lap a driver because all the corners really hurt the momentum of the cars. As here's Miguel Angel Perez in 14th position. He's trying to really get past Tamas Bartfire and Nicholas Mucanos. These three have been pretty much like on 3 different tow bars working with each other. They haven't moved in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, that's right. I was just a note about the back marker there, Barry West. Yeah, just completely caught in the wrong place. And the guy that really got a result out of that was Jordan Gronkowski. Just watching Miguel Perez. Oh, he's off in the grass. Oh, no.
Able to save it there, Tamas Bartfire, but that's how easily you can have a mistake. One car just sniffing a nose up the inside, and suddenly you have to take a much different line. It looked like Tamas there at that situation carried the same speed he would on the inside there, Mick, but just didn't have the turn for it.
Yeah, just didn't have a turn, did he? Run out front grip there, understeered off the track, but yeah, it's a shame for him there. That was a good little lap time battle, wasn't it?
It was a good little battle, but now it's a battle of the 2 Tims, one of which might get a podium out of this. So these two are going to have to figure this out. It's about 2 seconds up the road to Michael de Turk at this point in time. Not much you can do to close that back. So they'll be thinking about each other and how they figure out who's got what strength and who's got what weakness. The good news for Timothy Reed is he's seen Timothy Vaughan's line for the entirety of this race. He knows exactly what he's capable of doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking at the lap times, Tim Reed was a good couple of tenths faster. Let's just look now as they go over the line. 15.9 for both of these guys, so nothing between them. Just looking at Miko behind, and there's a bit of a gap behind now. These guys are really nailing the track, so they've learnt from the earlier race, Jake. These guys were really all over the place in turn 1, I have to admit. And Tim Reed lost the back end badly there. It was cost him a couple of tenths, and gets away with it as you can in this car. But yeah, fast hands from there, Tim.
Yeah, he's done well, and he didn't really wash out too much either with that slide coming through turn 4, so has got away with that one ever so slightly. But this is what you get. You get a car that's lighter. They're burning effectively 1/10 of a second's worth of fuel every single lap that they're going around this circuit. And when you get a car that gets lighter and lighter, a car that's lighter gets looser, and it means that you're going to have less downforce really to play with, and you're going to have to be pretty much relying on the car's balance.
And it's not the easiest of cars to drive anyway, is it, in the first place? So let's be honest. Yeah, pretty tough going out there for the guys.
I very much looked at this car on the iRacing service and say I'm not touching it with a chisel in terms of how I drive, because I don't have faith to last 3 corners, let alone 27 laps, which they're doing here today. But that is a brilliant, brilliant race that's being constructed by these drivers right now, as at this point in time, it's about this group, 2nd to 7th. And at the moment, there's going to be 4 unhappy faces in this group and 2 very happy faces, because all of these drivers today have had the pace to be on the podium. That much is undeniable.
Yeah, absolutely. And the guys are on the limit. You know, this is normally the stage of the race where someone will say, oh, I wonder if they're waiting for later on or something like that. No, these guys are absolutely on the limit to try and wrench this car around the track. And as I've said a few times today, it's tough to get this car around these slow corners, especially this late on in the race when you've got all this oversteer to contend with. And yeah, I wouldn't call them medium speed corners, that are on the side of saying a lot of slow corners. And just watching the guys now as they head for the last half of the lap onto the front straight after this tight little section on the right hand, turn right into the tight right hander, turn left, and then give it a bootload of throttle to get down onto this front straight. Absolutely in all these guys.
Miguel Angel Perez down the inside then, and Nicholas Bucanos, that is an overtake as Timo Kajalainen just proving he's the quickest, a 15.4 on that last lap, just absolutely wrenching away from everyone. He's got 8 seconds now of a margin, closer this time into the opening corners. Let's take a driver's eyes perspective then from Timothy Reed. This is what he sees in the cockpit as he drives about, looking through turn 3, now into turn 4, trying to get much, and again the back end steps out for him, and he's looking now in the mirrors because it'll be Mikko Leno who'll be thinking about, how do I get back up into 4th place?
Yeah, I was just watching his inputs there, nice and smooth until he lost the back end there, but not really worrying about Mikko into the brake zone now for the left-hander. Nice and smooth hands. Watch Mikko now behind, nowhere near close enough, but Just look at Tim's hands now. Just look at the inputs. Nice and smooth, not losing the back end there, just correcting slightly. That's fine. That just means you've got enough power down now to get the rear to rotate nicely. Get a brake marker sorted out for the right-hander. Just misses the curb. A nice wide line into the left. And here we go now back onto the front straight.
And what makes the car difficult as well here, Mick, is just how much torque goes through those massive rear tyres that this Lotus 79 has. You get so much power put into the rear wheels that it wants to push the car down, and effectively with those tyres, those rear tyres, they just want to go left, they want to go right, they want to go everywhere, and you've got to try and point that car straight.
Yeah, absolutely. This isn't the newest of the DFV. Obviously, the DFV was in the 49, and in that car, it was a very peaky engine. In the 79, it's got a bit more torque, and yeah, it will light the rears up, no problem.
Mikel Leno then with a really good opportunity, sets up the chicane, and this might be the moment where he moves back up into fourth position, cuts back into line then, looking for some slipstream. He'll have an angle to the inside here. Timothy Reed's got to be late on the brakes, but Leno is later as he tries to send it through. Reed running the outside line fantastically. It's going to hold off and do so very nicely.
Yeah, you nailed it there, Jake. Tim did really run that outside line absolutely perfect. Just enough room for Miko to have some track, and just enough to give him some pain as well. Yeah, well, good driving from both the guys there.
Yeah, fantastic driving, and these two know that this is for a fourth place, and every point will matter when Timo Kajalainen is going to take a, knock wood, 3 race victories in the first 4 races. They're going to be pretty much trying to get anything they can get their hands on at this point in time. They enter back up onto the oval and get themselves looking for more and more pace out there, knowing how crucial that this race is going to be for the final 4 laps. On the brakes then, Leno's going to have to try and manufacture an overtake somewhere, and it is going to take maybe a lap or 2 to try and maneuver your opponent into the right position. They're playing chess essentially when they hit the brakes to turn 1 at 281 kilometers an hour here, Mick.
Yeah, just watching these guys now through the chicane. Look at the guys over the curbs. Nice tight lines from both of them. I love that Ferrari paint as well by from Miko there. It looks great on the 79. And how he get down to this left-hander now. Nicely on the brakes for the pair of them again. Maybe Tim looked a little bit wide there on the exit. And we run just over the curbs. Nico's really hammering these curbs, Jake. Look at that. Look at how much he's taken the curb there as he run over the right-hand side there. I noticed it on the lap before when we got onto the front straight again. He really is hammering these curbs.
And these curbs aren't the sort which are anti-cut. There are some heavier, higher curbs to slow the cars down, but a lot of the curbs in and around the mid-sector of the track are pretty flat, and because of that, you can take a little bit more. Mikel Leno is certainly experimenting with those properties more than others. Another 15.4 from your race leader, Timo Kajalainen. We haven't seen much of him up at the front of the field. Well, why would you? He's got an 8.5 second gap, 9 seconds it was across the line, and he looks absolutely unflappable. Question I have to ask you, Mick, who stops this man?
Not many. Yeah, look at the onboard now as we ride down the back straight. I was watching this earlier today in practice session, and I was just looking at the lap times just fall and fall and fall, and just watching now into the left-hander. Steer it left, car goes left. Steer it straight, car goes right. There's no opposite lock going on. There's no nervousness in the hands whatsoever. It's just that car is absolutely planted and fastest.
Right. It's on rails. It is absolutely on rails. You
Yeah.
could not draw a better line than he is. He's even got the smallest counter steer as he gets the car sorted going into the right. He's got the smallest counter steer left to make sure that the back end doesn't step out. This is magical driving at this point in time, and it really does showcase now with 2 laps to go just how quick Timo Kajalainen is here with the Lotus 79. It is still not over though. The battle, another fastest lap of the race. He's showing off right now, but Mikel Leno now is interesting, and you've got to be careful going through the final section of track for Timothy Reed. It is very easy to pick up those off-track instant points if you just run wide through the final corner.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure about Miku, how many instances he would have got smashing over the inside curbs. Maybe not as many as Tim, but yeah, this is a really good battle. These are the battles I love. You know, when, they've got a back marker coming up now, I think. No, it's not.
Tony Garcia.
Yeah, so let's see how that plays out. Tim looks to have got a bit of a gap now. I was looking for the back marker and missed what happened. But look at Tim going for a bit of a toe there, saying thank you to the back marker. You've got to be so careful when that happens. You can really run into the back of someone doing that. I've done it myself, mate.
Yeah, you have to be really, really alert to it as you go through. And now for Timothy Reed in 4th position, Mikko Leino still there, trying to find a way through. He gets a bit of a wiggle of understeer as the wash kicks in, but he is close and he's got a chance coming towards the final lap.
Yeah, just watching Mikko now again over the curb on the right-hand side. Takes a nice wider line into the left-hander. Again, a little bit more curb than Tim, not as much as I've seen him use today though. And away down the front straight. Let's have a look at his top speed now, Jake. I know the guys were just slightly north of 170 miles an hour. So what we got, Mikko's nicely in the toe here, and I don't know if he's going to go for this. This looks on, Jake.
He's on. He's going to have to do it the long way around, though. On the brakes as late as you dare. Oh, he's going to get it, is he? Inside of turn 2. He's going to have no power, though. And that's going to be where Reed's going to really find his way through. And he barges his way back through. But Leno doesn't give up. He tries around the outside of 4. He's not going to get it. Brilliant work between the two of them. But Reed's still holding the advantage. There's still chances left in this race, but they're running out of time. This might be one of the last places you can get it done. On the brakes, going to have to be a late lunge here, and he's got to cover off the outside line. He's going to get it. Oh, lovely block pass. Going to fall in the grass. Reed's going to spin it around. Somehow avoiding it is Kimmo Villiakainen. Brilliant work, but unfortunate there. Late for Timo Karjalainen. He has run a race to absolute perfection. Nobody can catch it. Karjalainen might be light speed. Light speed Karjalainen wins at Indianapolis.
Unbelievable battle there, wasn't it? Such a shame it ended that way for Tim, but yeah, and the guys wouldn't have enjoyed it. You know, even Mikko there, he won't have enjoyed that, watching Tim come off the track there. But yeah, unbelievable. I was just watching Mikko. I was on board with Mikko on turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3. He just never had the car gripped up at all around those corners. It was unbelievable.
This is the battle for 15th position then coming towards the line. Ryan van Voorst trying to figure out a way past Javier Mosquera at this moment. The 15 and the 17 going at it. Mosquera's had a good race. He's been up 6 places so far trying to get this sorted. On the brakes they'll go, and I think Mosquera, if he gets a good run out of turn 13, might be home and dry from this position. Some great work that has been going on between these two drivers, which we haven't seen too much of, but a great race towards the line. Mosquera is going to hold on to that 15th position on what is an incredible race here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I think, ladies and gentlemen, we need to take a small breather. We'll be back with post-race coverage, confirmation of results, and maybe some post-race interviews to come to that. You're watching your Sunday Drivers Lotus 79 series here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to ride around the world.
I'm Mick Claridge, and I'm going to ride around the world on my bike.
My son, he gave me advice at the start of this ride, and he looked at me and just said, "Dad, don't be a moron."
Let me do my animal signal to gain their respect.
How's it going, Sally? Yeah, I'm alright, Mick. How's it going? Worse than that bit in Lord of the Rings where they go into the top and the spiders in the tunnel. I'm just hoping there's a spider at the top of this one to kill me.
Freezing. And I failed. I moroned up the ride.
It was a runaway victory at the front of the field, but the mid-pack and beyond was absolutely fantastic to see. Timo Karjalainen is on another extra plane as he takes the victory in 34 minutes and 10 seconds and wins by a margin of 11 seconds today over Michael de Turk. Timothy Bourne would finish off in third position, and drama on the final lap between Mikko Leino and Timothy Reed. Leino would end up the victor on that in fourth position, and profiteering from it would be Kimmo Villiakainen and Jordan Gronkowski, fifth and sixth. Timothy Reed, seventh, isn't indicative of the pace that he had today. He certainly had a fantastic run out there overall, with Kartik Pai taking a well-deserved eighth after a fantastic battle with Luca Bracali, who finishes off in ninth, and Peter Konechny would round out the top 10, Mick.
And as we wait for the, we go. 11th was Jukka Tolinen, and 12th was Miguel Fernandez. Thomas Barfly was 13th. Nicholas McCarnas 14th. 15th, Javier Mosquera. Ryan Van Voorst in 16th. Marco Salgado in 17th. 18th was Daniel Garlis. Barry West, bit of a moment for him, wasn't it? And there's a back marker in 19th then, and Tony Garcia in 20.
And that would be the last finisher in this race. All the other drivers here are retirees. Alejandro Fernandez and Gurno Friche. I'm sure Friche is going to have to be looking a little bit in his mirrors after that, after what was a heavy, heavy accident. Sure that he missed his braking point there. And then a lot of drivers getting caught out in the early stages. Daniel Banker, Keith Herner, Armando Edwards, Paul Schmallenberg getting caught out, and Marc-Antoine Thibault as well, not able to find a finish here today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But we do have drivers here and an opportunity to talk. Mick Claridge stood by with our race winner, Timo Karjalainen.
Timo, congratulations, another win, mate. That was a bit of a masterclass. I have to say, we did had a look on board, and I picked it up in commentary. We're just watching your steering inputs in the car today. It just looked like the thing was on rails. So, congratulations, and just talk us through it.
Thanks, Mick. And hey, definitely didn't feel like on rails. Took me a long time to really master this track. I don't know who put some oil into the track, but it was a challenge all week. You gotta just hold your inputs and stay steady, and the lap time will come. That's the lesson I learned this week from this track. But talking through the race is just qualified well, didn't do anything silly, didn't push too hard, just kept a steady rhythm, and really helped that Michael locked up in the turn one at some point and kind of let me get away. And then it was just keeping my mind on apexes and exits.
Yeah, just give us an insight. Just talking about your driving style there, and I know from my own experience, sometimes it is helpful to set the car up really aggressively to get the rear end rotating around these corners. I'm talking about the car that I'm used to, but I know it's probably similar for the 79. Just give us an insight into your setup and what you prepare.
Well, firstly, I thought this was going to be like minimal wing and just mechanical grip, but the more I put wing, the more confident I felt, and the more lap time I gained by that. So it was just just finding about your sweet spot where you find good rhythm, and it might have not been the fastest around, but it just felt stable and consistent, and that's really the most important thing here, because the corners are so slippy. So I kind of set up not really stiff, but not really soft, just a bit more on the stiff side. Car really low to really help. When you set up the car really low, you get improvement on the handling, and that's the key to this track, really.
Yeah, I'm in awe about your driving style today, and I know we were saying that, you know, it looked easy, but obviously it wasn't. I mean, you was getting fastest lap here and there and everywhere. Listen, Watkins Glen Boot next week. How do you feel about that place?
I'm actually taking a week off. I have a lot of work, and I have a concert to visit, and I have a league race on Saturday. So most likely I will miss the week, Watkins Glen week, but I'll be back for Oulton Park for sure.
Okay, that's great stuff. Anyone you want to thank today?
I would like to thank Kimmo and Michael for helping me train, do the races on the week. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Timothy Vaughan. It's really, really, really nice to see new names on podium. Welcome.
Yeah, fair play. Well, cheers, mate. Thanks for coming in, and good to see you up there again.
Cheers, thank you.
That was Timu. Great win for Timu there. Who we got, Jake?
We got a driver who finished second position, Michael de Turk, joining us. Now, Michael, first position seemed like a light year away. 11 seconds is always a bit humbling when you see that as a margin to victory. But that battle you had early on in the race, second position, yourself and Mikko Leno, a battle of two Michaels. Talk us through it.
Yeah, you know, I know Timo was way out in front and he slapped the rest of the field, but I did have close to his raw pace this week. I just wasn't consistent enough, and that was clearly evident in me making the mistake into turn one with Mikko and him getting past there, and then us kind of fighting it out for the next 7 or 8 laps. Unfortunately, I was maybe a bit aggressive in his mirrors, trying to get into his head, hopefully. And I took a little bit of a curb strike there. And unfortunately, I had front wing damage basically from like lap 5 or lap 4 through the entire race. It wasn't big, but it was enough to throw the balance off and cost me a 1/10 and a half, 2 tenths per lap probably.
Well, even with the damage, it looked like the drivers behind you very much found themselves in their own pockets. And the moment it sort of spread out for you and the drivers started to get a little bit more aggressive, try and find those moves, the gaps just seemed to open up for you. You had a little bit more respite.
Yeah, I definitely got a chance to, I don't want to say relax because there's no relaxing in this car, but, you know, breathe for half a second and really assess where I was. Timothy Vaughan was definitely closing me down there at the end. I think a few more laps and he would have had me, absolutely. You know, and yesterday he took 4th in the Audi GTOs and Camel Series, which I can't think of a larger gap in car than that and this, than maybe, I don't know, Lotus 49 in this.
Well, you certainly do find a lot of gaps, but talk us through next week, because it's Watkins Glen week. It's going to be fast. It's going to be furious. It's going to be all about positioning and placement, and everyone's going to be looking at that as a circle on the calendar to say, this is the one track that I really, really want to prove that I can make overtakes and win in a very, very cool fashion. Is that one that you're really circling and saying, this is one I'd love to go out there and show what I'm capable of doing?
Yeah, it's my home track. I live, I don't know, maybe less than 90 minutes away from it. So I've spent a lot of time there over the years, both as a spectator and doing track days and coaching. So I love that track. Unfortunately, in iRacing, pretty much every single time we race there, I either get hit or wreck myself. So it's not usually the best result for me, but it's going to be interesting because we're running the chicane layout, which we have never run in Lotus 79 before. So I think we're going to see a wide variety of downforce, even more so than this week, just because people are going to be trying to figure out what to do, since normally we run the classic without the boot or without the bus stop.
My advice to you is avoid every ladder you can. Don't walk under any of them. But Michael, before we let you go, shout out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank.
Big thanks to you guys for the great broadcast, as always. Timo and Kimo for just excellent practice all week. We spent a lot of time here trying to pick up speed and race each other, and we had a pretty good time doing it, so that was nice.
Nice job there, and the second position definitely well worth its weight in gold. Michael de Turk there joining us. second position overall. And that just leaves the driver who finished off in third position, stood by with Mick Claridge, is Timothy Vaughan.
Hey, Tim, great to see you. Congratulations on the third spot, mate. We just heard from Michael de Turk there. Seems he had a pretty good weekend so far now.
Yeah, no, it was good. I jumped in. I think he mentioned the Camel GT. I've hopped over to the GTO this season. I'm normally a high downforce kind of guy, so learning that's been quite a challenge. And then, I mean, this morning it's incredible. I did not expect this when I woke up this morning. Third place, best Lotus 79 result ever, and best iRacing result, period. So it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and top split today as well, you know. So, yeah, you're in good company today, and you're taking a lot of good scalps. Just talk us through that battle. I mean, that was pretty intense. I mean, I've been in those battles up there myself, and, you know, the pressure is immense. Just give us an insight.
I mean, as soon as I qualify somewhere like P5 instead of my normal P12, P13 mid-pack, it's sort of I just want to survive and get through to the end of the race and not take anybody out. And then I got side by side through with Mikko Lino through the chicane, and I was ready to lift, and then I just saw his rear wheel in my rear view mirror, and thought, oh, he's backing out more, and I was just happy to be up there. I wasn't really racing for anything, just trying to not make any mistakes.
Right, and just give us a quick. What time is it there where you're racing?
So I'm waking up about 5 o'clock for the race at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, so that gives you an extra position. I'm saying you got second today just because of that.
Thank you.
Because that's serious. I've done that myself when I ran the V8 supercars. Yeah, I know all about that. Listen, Watkins Glen next week. How do you feel about that?
I'm another one who's going to be missing next week on the way with the Moto GP in Australia, so that'll be fun. And I'm missing the weekend after because that's going to be a 3:30 in the morning race, which is, even that's a bit much for me.
Right, yeah, okay. Listen, well done on the third. I can tell how happy you are with it. Great stuff, mate. Do you want to thank anyone today?
Just thanks to everybody for turning up. Thanks, Timo, for his setup. It was mega. Michael as well for sharing the setup and giving us stuff to try. Thanks to everybody in the Discord, and thanks to you guys for broadcasting.
Well done, mate. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
That's it, Jake. Close it up, mate.
Absolutely. What an incredible performance that we have seen from a number of drivers today, and this here on what has been an incredible Lotus 79 adventure. 1 week from today, we will have some amazing action coming up, but we have to give a massive thank you to all of the people who have been involved in it today, from, of course, Mick, Ryan, and, of course, Dougie. Make sure to check out our social media website and merchandise store. Links are in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, so you don't miss a moment here with the Global Sim Racing Channel's work. 1 week from today, October 16th, same time, same place. It is Watkins Glen, the chicane in, the full boot. It's the full Monty that they'll be dealing with. And make sure that you join everyone back here for that one. And of course, keep an eye out on all our other broadcasts, which are going to be up on your screen right now. So make sure you write it down in your calendar and you don't miss it at all. There'll be action coming up in a couple of hours' time when it comes to the absolute beginners. So make sure you stay with us at the Global Sim Racing Channel for that. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.